Hi everyone. Last thing I want to say, this will be very quick, is there is one special case I do want you to be aware of. You can still use the AC method when you encounter something like this, but I just want to quickly point out a little shortcut for you. So this is something called the difference of squares. So if you ever end up with something in the form where the first thing is squared and you're subtracting it by something else that's squared, so a squared minus b squared, you can just quickly write that you know it'll factor to a plus b times a minus b. So what does that mean? So see here we have 9x squared minus 16. All right, so obviously 16 is 4 squared. 9x squared is the same thing as 3x squared, right? So if you ever have something like 9, 16, 25, 36, 64 in front of x squared, this method will work. So ultimately, when you look at this, you have a is 3x, b is 4. So then you can just quickly write, because a is 3x, b is 4, you can just quickly write it as 3x plus 4, 3x minus 4. Really, all you're doing is you're taking the square root of each of these and you're putting them into this kind of little template to help you out. So here's a little bit more complicated of one. I'm not going to make you do anything this complicated in the assignments this week, but to get the point across, 4x squared minus 81y squared. If you look at it and think about it for a bit, 4x squared is the same thing as 2x squared, right? 81y squared is the same thing as 9y squared, the whole thing squared, right? Because based on our exponent rules, we know that if we're dealing with it, we'd have to use the exponent on both the 9 and the y, right? The exponent, the 2 on both the 2 and the x. So because a is 2x and b is 9y, you can just immediately write it as 2x plus 9y, 2x minus 9y. Again, you could use any of the other methods of factoring that you're aware of to factor these as well. You just need to be careful, because if you were looking at something like the AC method that we looked at last time, right, your b in this case is 0. So you're looking for factors that add up to 0. The other thing you need to be careful of, see here we have a negative, right? If you had plus b squared, that's a totally different problem, and usually that is something that we would leave to a future course to discuss how to factor. But anyway, if you ever see anything in this form, it should hopefully be very quick for you to solve. All right, best of luck.